All right, welcome. In this lesson, we're going to talk about the percent proportion, which is just like solving proportions, but in a new context, a new way. Okay, so we're going to start with our I can statement, which is I can find the missing number in a percent proportion. Okay. So cent, this base word cent, like century, centipede, percent, it means 100. Okay, so a century means 100 years. There are 100 cents in a dollar. A centipede has 100 legs, which is just too many legs, okay? But that's what it means. Okay, so percent means per 100. Okay, part per 100. So if we said that 80% of students passed the test, that means 80 out of 100 students passed the test. Or for every 100 students, 80 of them passed the test. Okay? So here's our proportion. Let me get some highlighters, because you know we love a good highlight. That's all the colors I got. Okay? So the part over the whole equals the percent over 100. So let's say your score, you don't have to write this, is 16 points out of 20 total questions. Okay, so the part is the 16, and the whole is the total that is possible out of 20 total. Okay, and then your percent would be the percentage that makes up. So the percent is the number with the percent sign. Looks like that. Part is the number that goes with the word is. So the smaller portion. And then whole, what it's out of, is the number that goes with the word of. Okay? And we say this is over of equals percent over 100. Okay? So what number is 75% of 4? Well, first of all, we have our percent is the one with the percent sign, so 75. We have our part, goes with the word is. And it says, what number is? What is? We don't know. And in math, to represent a number we don't know, we use a variable like x. I might zoom even a little bit. There we go. Okay. And then the whole, what it's out of, it says of 4. Okay. So even though 75 is right next to of, 75 has a percent sign, so it cannot go with the word of. So we're going to use that information to fill in our formula. Is over of equals percent over 100. We said that x goes with is, so instead of is, I'm going to put in x. Over of, 4 goes with of, equals, our percent was 75, and then over 100 always just stays the same. So what number is 75% of 4? To figure that out, we do x over 4 equals 75 over 100. And then we're going to cross multiply to solve our proportion. So we have 100 times x equals 24 times 75. Okay. So 100 times x is 100x. 4 times 75 is 300. Now we're going to solve for x. I'm going to get to 1x, so I'm going to divide by the number in front of x, which is 100. So x equals 3. So 3 is 75% of 4. Or 3 out of 4 equals 75%. Okay? Right, next one. 3 is what percent of 24? So this right here says what percent? We don't know. So since we don't know, we're going to say x. Okay. Then we need to figure out what number goes with the word is. Well, it says 3 is. So that's 3. And then it says of 24. So of 24. Okay. So we're going to fill in our formula. Is over of equals percent over 100. Okay. So we said that 3 goes with is, and I'll highlight that. Okay. So 3 over of 24 goes with of. We don't know what percent, so x over 100. And then we cross multiply to solve. So 3 times 100 equals 24 times x. 3 times 100 is 300. 24 times x is 24x. Then we need to solve for x. Okay, so I have 24x. I want 1x. To get rid of the 24, we're going to divide by 24. $300 divided by 24 is 12.5. And we were looking for a percent. So we're going to say percent. So 3 out of 24 is 12.5%. Okay? All right, next one. Let me see if I can scooch my packet up. There we go. 7.5% of what number is 80? Okay. So we have our percent is the one with the percent sign, 7.5. And this says of what? Okay. So we do not know what number goes with of, so we put x. And then is 80. Okay. All right, so is 80 over of, we don't know, so x is over of equals the percent, 7.5 over 100. Then we're going to cross multiply. 80 times 100 equals 7.5 times x. 80 times 100 is 8,000 equals 7.5x. Then we divide by 7.5. is 1066.6666, and the 6 goes on forever. Excuse me. We're going to round to the nearest hundredth. I'm going to zoom in for this part. So we find our hundredths place. We look next door. If the number the arrow is pointing at is 5 or bigger, we add 1 more, so it goes up. So this 6 that we underlined goes up to a 7. And the rest of it goes away. So it changed to a 0.67. Okay. All right, last one. Scooch them down. There we go. What is 20% of 85.25? There, now it's focusing. Okay. So we're going to start with our percent. We have 20%. So 20 is our percent. Then we find the word is. And it is what is. We don't know, so we're going to put X. And we find the word of 85.25. So is over of. Is X. Over of is 85.25. Equals our percent, 20 over 100. Then cross multiply. 100 times X equals 85.25 times 20. Oh, there we go. 100X is 100X. I'll zoom back out a little bit. $85.25 times 20 is 1,705. I have to solve for X. So I'm going to get X by itself. I need to divide by 100. $17.05 is 17.05. Okay. All right, flip to the practice. I'll do a couple with you. Let's do this one. Okay, so at the top, I want you to put up here, is over of equals the percent over 100. Write that at the top, so that way you don't have to flip back and forth as much. Okay? Okay, this says, what percent of 131.1 is 58? Well, is goes with 58. So we're going to do 58 over of 131.1 equals what percent? We don't know what percent, so we're going to put X over 100, and then we're going to cross multiply and solve. 58 times 100 equals 131.1 times X. 58 times 100 is 5,800. Then to solve for X, we need to divide by the number in front of it, which is this 131.1. Okay, and we're going to round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so this 4 is in my hundredths place. So I find my place, I look next door, 5 or bigger, add 1 more, 4 or less, let it rest. And I'm going to write that in pencil. So 44.24103. Okay. Zoom in. So it's the nearest hundredth. So here's our hundredths place. We look next door. The arrow is pointing at the 1. That is 4 or less, so we're letting it rest. So that 4 is going to stay the same. Everything in front of it stays the same. And everything after what we underlined goes away. So that rounds to 44.24. Okay. And that was a percent, so let's put a percent sign on it. Okay. Let's do this last one of level 3. You turn in a quiz and you score 12 points, which is an 80%. How many points is the quiz out of? Okay, so is over of equals the percent over 100. Okay, so we know our percent is 80%. Okay. So when you score 12 points, you're trying to figure out, is that the score or is that how many total are possible? Well, this down here says that the quiz is out of, we don't know how many. Okay, so the out of, the bottom one is the one we don't know. Your score is the part, the smaller number. So 12 points. So 12 points out of how many, we don't know, equals 80%. Okay? So then we're going to cross multiply and solve. 12 times 100 equals 80 times x. 12 times 100 is 1,200 equals 80x. I need to get x by itself, so I'm going to divide by 80. 1,200 divided by 80 is 15. So there's 15 points possible. So take your time. Write every step. I want you to write every step. Okay? Just like I showed here and here. You need to show every single step. Okay? Don't try to do it in your head. Use your paper. Go through it slowly. Don't rush. You got this. Half of the battle is identifying which part goes where. All right, good luck. Have fun.